I'm now in San Luis in Argentina, and this was founded in 1594 as a stop-off place between Buenos Aires and Santiago in Chile. And funny enough, it's a stopover place for me as well between Mendoza and Córdoba, because I didn't fancy doing the long bus ride. So I'm only here for one night, and this is later than I usually start filming. Usually it's between 12 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is usually when Argentina has their little siesta, so the place is usually all quiet. But now it's just after 6:45 at night, and oh my god, there are people everywhere. So because I've only got one night, I needed to come out, and where better to start than Pringles Square, which has got a market on, I think. So San Luis was named after the French king, Louis IX, who was made a saint for some reason. And I'm just going to have a little wander around, and there is a lot of architecture. Let me look at that. That's beautiful. So the reason I've started later than usual, I've had a bad day. So I'm too busy looking at the sunglasses. So I arrived 2 o'clock this afternoon, got to an apartment where I'm staying, £17 a night, and I needed to upload the video for today. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi in the apartment was the worst I've ever had. So I had to go and find a coffee shop very quickly, and then that wasn't the best neither. On top of that, when I got to the apartment, they wanted to be paid in cash. They didn't have a card machine. Had to go and find a Western Union. They wouldn't accept my passport because it had a middle name on it, and the forms I had to take the money out didn't have my middle name. So I've been trying to find another Western Union, which I've given up on because every single one of them on Google Maps doesn't exist. So I've had to use an ATM instead. Wow. Like I said, when I'm usually going around parks, there's about 3 or 4 people. I'm not used to this. Let's just have a little wander. Plus, I'm not used to a lot of people staring at me carrying the camera. New sensation. Right, I should actually find out more about this place, shouldn't I? Right, Google. So, Pringles Square. This is the center square of San Luis, named after Juan Pringles, who was a local lad from around here who fought in the independence wars in the early 1800s. He died in battle, and he turned into a bit of a regional hero, and I'm assuming the statue there is Mr. Pringles himself. Now I'm led to believe that if you see a horse statue and his leg is up in the air, then that means the guy died in battle. Who knows? So although this is the capital city of the region, I I did ask the girl who took me around into the apartment. I said, is it a city or is it a town? And her English was really good. She said, and I like this, it is a city, but it's got the personality of a large town, which I will use. It's not copyrighted. Right. So even though back in UK this time of night, people would be just sat in front of the TV in the houses. But Argentina, South America, life comes alive. Right, we're seeing the church. Let's just have a walk around here. And I wasn't going to waste a night in the apartment when I just arrived here. I needed to come out and see it. The thing with San Luis is the fact that most Argentinians might have heard of this place, but backpackers and travellers and tourists will never have heard of here. But just off the square is the College National. Look at that, it's ancient. And as you know, if you follow me, I do love going to random places. And if you're thinking why you left it so late to film, I've already explained, but why can you do it tomorrow? I'm leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's either now or never. Oh wow. Is he going to stop? Of course he's not. Do like that. I'm just going to have a little wander down there. Oh, the tourist office. Right, I did see on the map a Vita, so I'm assuming that is either Peron. It's got a very thin face. I quite like this little boulevard in the middle. Like a lot of places I've been visiting lately, Mendoza, San Rafael, they're all built on irrigation because they're in the middle of deserts. This is just on the outskirts of the edge of the desert, but it still relies on irrigation, and that's how it was built. While you got a lot of green trees. Right, I'm going to go back in the square and have a look at the market. And I have been lucky with the weather today, because this afternoon when I arrived it was cloudy and I was expecting rain. It's turned out right. Right, market time. Let's look at stuff that I shouldn't buy, and I probably won't because I haven't got the room in my backpack. But I just passed this map. Oh, look at them. So there's a tourist map, and it looks like there's plenty of stuff to do if you were planning to stay for maybe a day or two. Not less than, not even 24 hours I'm staying for. Right, I moved away from the square. I thought I'd go and see a bit of the city centre itself. There is tourist signs everywhere. And it's busy. And because it's busy, there's music that I'm trying to avoid. Now, because San Luis is not a tourist destination, there are no hostels at all. The apartment that I'm staying in, £17 a night, is the cheapest place. And if you saw the last video, you'll see how good it is. It's basic. But because it's that price, that's why I'm only staying for the one night. Otherwise I would have stayed for a little bit longer. And at the moment I am just wandering around aimlessly. If I'm right, this leads you towards the Independence Square. It probably isn't. I think this is the outskirts of the shopping end. It's a bit quieter. And I am a little bit conscious of the time because I'm meant to be going back to pay for the apartment and I don't want to be late. I mean, I still can't get over how busy it is this time of night. What I have noticed is there's a lot of coffee shops. A lot of coffee shops. And I've just looked at the map and I am going the right direction. It's like I'm a homing pigeon, I know where I'm going. And I found Independence Square, which is a lot quieter. I should do more nighttime walkabouts. So that is the local government building. God, look at that. Wow. That is impressive lit up. And there's still people around, just not as busy as the other place. No idea who that is. I think that's San Luis. Then across the road from the Independence Park. Wow, look at that. And that looks like the remains, original. Wow. I mean, something inside me saying, go on, stay for one more night. Try and find out about these places, these things. See what it looks like during the day. Can't. So I just found out this is the Antigua Templo de Santo Domingo, which is the old temple of Saint Dominic. It was built between 1836 and 1838. 2 years to build that, that's quite impressive. And this was the main church in San Luis until 1897. Wow. Still being used today though. People going in and out. So it's dark now. I'm not usually out this late. And I think it's time to go back to the apartment. Didn't help by the fact that I've had a text of the people saying, Where are you? Because I know they're expecting their money. But if only I hadn't had all these problems today, I could have been out earlier, I could have seen more, I could have explored more. Because this looks like a fascinating place. This sort of place I like. Just small, interesting, with a bit of history, bit of culture, a bit of real life Argentina. But hey ho, I've seen enough. And tomorrow morning it's time to leave for, I think it's a 6-7 hour bus ride all the way to Córdoba, and that's where the next video will be. But if you've enjoyed this little look around, God, the lights are bright, then all you gotta do is press that like button. If you want to see the next big city, then subscribe. But until the next time, I need to get the map out to find out where I'm going. Bye bye for now.